I the a-hole for wanting to tell my husband's sister where he takes her son whenever he's babysitting for her? Hear me out. My husband's sister Nicole had a difficult upbringing. Her parents kicked her out and disowned her and cut financial support off her after she refused to marry a family friend. She instead went to live with her late boyfriend, who passed away shortly after their son was born. My in-laws kept pressuring Nicole to let them meet their grandkid, and they harassed her to the point where she got a restraining order against them, and that's when they stopped. But they, including my husband, have been complaining about what a horrible thing she did and said that she broke the family and robbed them of their grandchild. My husband has contact with Nicole, and he started offering to babysit her son for her after she finally found a new job, and she's been grateful for this. However, he's been doing this ever since he started babysitting his nephew. He'd wait till she dropped his nephew off, then he'd get him into the car and drive to my in-laws' house so they could see him. He'd stay gone and come back 30 minutes before Nicole is expected to arrive. I didn't want to say anything at first, but then I couldn't stand thinking about how betrayed and hurt Nicole would feel if she found out. I told my husband what he's doing is wrong, since his nephew's mom did not consent to him to go to my in-laws' house. But he told me he's doing this for his nephew's sake and told me to shut the heck up and stay out of his family's affairs. This caused an argument between us. I told him if he doesn't stop, then I'd tell Nicole. And he said I would then explain that he didn't think it was fair for Nicole to punish his parents like that and ban them from seeing their grandchild. I told him this is serious, because she has a restraining order against them and our nephew shouldn't be there. I insisted I'd tell her if this doesn't stop, but he said if I do that, I'd cause him to lose his nephew, and called me bitter and cruel for even entertaining the idea. He told me if I do that, then he'll let my in-laws know and they won't be happy with me. He urged me to mind my own business and stop trying to divide a family and condone Nicole's unjustified hatred for his parents. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your husband is an absolute a-hole who is helping his parents to break the law. If I were you, I'd let Nicole know what is going on immediately and encourage her to call the police next time your husband takes her son to her parents. Let the law deal with them all. This right here, it's not a family matter, it's a legal one. Not sure how old the kid is, but he will say something to his mom one day. I imagine when that happens, the police and the courts will be involved. Your husband is looking at a lot of trouble for doing this. If I were you, I'd seriously reconsider if this is a family you want to be a part of. OP, you're not the a-hole, but the family you married into has a lot of them. You're married to this guy and his family. Tell Nicole and take her hint to get the hell out of this family. Not the a-hole for telling her she deserves to know her son is being entertained by a group of people who despise her. WTF. Opie now knows her husband is perfectly fine with lying to someone's face and pretending to care about them to get what he wants. Is this a person you want to be married to? Why do you imagine you'd be exempt from this if he'd do it to his own sister? He doesn't seem to have a good opinion of women making their own choices. How would he treat you if your ideas differed from his? OP, tell Nicole and think long and hard about your own marriage. Whether or not he'd be mad is just the tip of the iceberg. What the actual hell is wrong with your husband and his family? Not the a-hole, but it took you far too long to realize what's right here. You need to tell Nicole immediately. You also need to take a long, hard look at the type of person your husband really is. This, Opie needs to tell Nicole immediately. And then, Opie needs to dump her sorry husband and his entire family, except Nicole. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my mom access to my money? My uncle and my mom have been arguing over this and I feel terrible. I don't know what to think. So my mom let me get anything under $25 to Easter given us on Amazon. I got a small mini ATM of sorts. It has a 4-digit passcode and makes noise when someone attempts to open it, and even louder if you fail. Plus, it automatically sucks in your money like an ATM would. I had been looking at this for a while, saving up my allowance and planning to get it. Since it was under the price range, so I asked and she got it for me. It came in yesterday and I put the batteries in, set the code and already put the money I had in it. I get a $10 allowance, and if I do certain tasks, I get an extra $10 to $20, which is only about $10 right now. My mom asked for the passcode, which frankly I thought was a joke, so I told her a fake one. I just thought it was her messing with me and trying to get me to laugh. She came home today and did her inspection of my room. I have been spending the past few days working on the rest of the house, so I haven't gotten a chance to. I didn't think she would try anything, so I continued making myself some sandwiches for late brunch. It was 10 a.m. I couldn't care less. Then I heard the noise it made when you failed the passcode. I tested it night prior just in case, and rushed to my room. What I see is my mom trying to get into it, then turned to me and glared. "You told me the passcode was 1234. Why isn't it working?" I was confused and taken aback. Like, who expects this from their mom? I got upset as well and yelled at her to get the heck out of my room and away from my money. She left in a huff, and when my uncle came home, he got his ear talked, practically yelled, "Off for it." He says I shouldn't have lied, but I didn't have to give her the passcode. Now those two are arguing and I feel really bad for causing it. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole at all. Your mother is pissed off at you because she couldn't break into what amounts to your piggy bank and steal back your allowance. That's next level a-holery. She wouldn't even be stealing it back. It's my uncle who pays me and started my whole allowance anyways, not her. So not stealing it back, just stealing it. Kid, you gobsmacked me. My jaw just hit my damn desk. There are no words I can actually say that won't get me thrown off the sub except, your mother is Queen A-hole of Turd Mountain. May no one ever rise to take her place. It doesn't get lower than stealing money from your child that other people have given them for their own daily spending. Not A-hole. The real question is why your mom is trying to steal your money. She has a bad, persistent habit of sticky fingers, and I've normally relented in the past to save my ears from her screeching. Not a-hole, have to say better check your credit score with your social security number. Good job on the save. Wow. Trust nobody with your money. Period. By the way, tell her it's Nanya business. Luckily, I'm not old enough to have my own credit card or anything yet. Hence why I went with a piggy bank / money holder with a passcode. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for running away? My 20 female used to live with my mom, stepdad, and stepsister was the same age as me. When my mom married my stepdad and moved them in when I was 12, from the get-go, it was obvious that there was something wrong with stepsister. I won't even attempt to speculate a diagnosis, but she got really clingy, would throw tantrums, and pee herself if she didn't get her way. Also, she couldn't regulate her voice. It would just blurt whatever she was thinking and touch or take whatever she wanted. Basically, she has zero self-control or awareness. I talked with my parents about getting her into therapy and getting her a diagnosis, and I was scolded and grounded for bullying her, because that counted as bullying for them, so I never brought it up again. But she latched onto me and it ruined my life. Refused her own room, was put in every one of my classes. If I talked with someone else, she would throw a tantrum and pee herself at school, and I would end up having to take care of her. If I was invited somewhere and she wasn't, I wasn't allowed to go. The only thing I had was swim team because the coach took pity on me and allowed her to join, so I could participate. When I was a junior, I turned 18 and got access to some money left to me by my dad and grandparents. That's when I made a plan. I got a P.O. box and didn't tell the parents. They told me that I will be going to the same college as my sister and I didn't argue, and used the P.O. box to apply to other colleges. I got into the farthest one I could get into. Last summer after graduation, I bailed in the middle of the night. I only took sentimental things and left everything including my phone. I left a letter and another with a neighbor so they wouldn't file a missing persons report. It has been almost a year and I just checked up on them, stalked them online for the first time. Apparently my stepsister is committed and the parents are no longer living together. And while I feel vindicated when it comes to the parents, I feel like an a-hole towards stepsister. I know that wasn't her fault. And with me there, she could live more or less normally. Now she's in a facility and all her support system vanished. So am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Your parents failed both of you. It sounds like running was the only solution. I hope you're doing better now. This. And OP, the situation was entirely of your parents' making. They allowed your stepsister to use you like a security blanket and decided not to get her any therapy to cope without you and instead built her entire mental health on you staying with her 24/7. I hope they learned a lesson from this and that your stepsister is finally getting the help she needs. I legit wonder what the hell her parents expected of her for the rest of her life. They wanted her to share college with stepsister. Was OP also expected to share a boyfriend or spouse with stepsister? And so on and so forth. The parents really failed both of their children. At least OP got to escape. I hadn't even thought of that. But if stepsister broke down just from OP talking to others, what would happen if OP was in a relationship? Not stay home. First, the idea of running away from home when you're a legal adult is absurd. You didn't run away. You moved out. Now on to the other stuff. It was the responsibility for stepfather to protect his daughter and ensure she was properly taken care of. He failed his duty as a father. It's also the responsibility of your mother to protect you. To that end, she should have recognized that your stepsister had a problem. It was interfering with your own growth and development with her clinginess and keeping you out of school activities because she refused to allow to do anything without her. Your mother should have insisted to her husband that your stepsister got proper care. They both failed their children. They lost you, forced your stepsister to be committed so she has no one, and destroyed their marriage. This heap of failure belongs to them, not you. You have no legal or moral responsibility to your stepsister. Although perhaps it might be helpful if you had some contact with her, but I would talk to her caregivers first. It might be nice if you could write letters to her or visit her occasionally, or perhaps that would exacerbate her clinginess. It depends on where she is in therapy. As I said, talk to her caregivers and see if such contact would be helpful and appropriate. But of course, whether you choose to have contact with your stepsister at all is entirely up to you. As I said, you have no legal or moral obligation to have any contact with her. I don't think it's a good idea to advise a stalking victim to re-establish contact with a person who has fixated on them. The stepsister is where she needs to be. Any type of contact, including pity, will cause a resurgence of interest. Source: been there, done that. Let the professionals handle it. Not stay home. And it's suspicious that your stepsister got committed after you moved. You are adult in college, so I wouldn't call it running away. It seems like you were forcibly assigned to be the caretaker of stepsister, and that was basically the only reason why your stepdad and your mother were together. You did nothing wrong. You just protected yourself and your future from being forced to be your stepsister's lifelong caretaker. Good for you, OP. May you recover the life that you were forced to give up. What I got from a neighbor is that she couldn't take it when I walked away that they had to get her committed. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for sleeping in a guest room and locking the door after my boyfriend kept tampering with my alarm and causing me to miss work? My boyfriend 30 is a prankster by nature. You'll always find him laughing about anything and pulling pranks on everyone. He broke his arm 2 weeks ago because of a prank, and as a result, he'd taken time off work and is home all day. Unlike me, as I work long hours in a very stressful job. He started complaining about feeling lonely and asking me to skip work so I could stay home with him, but I refused. He started tampering with my alarm by waiting till I fall asleep, then take my phone and mess with my phone clock, causing me to wake up an hour later and missing a day of work. I'm a heavy sleeper and I need my phone alarm to wake up. He'd laugh at my reaction every time, then ask, "So, what are we doing today?" It affected my job. And when I learned that it cost me a potential raise because my boss wasn't happy with me, I just couldn't stand it and had a fight with my boyfriend. I moved a mattress and my stuff to the guest room and started sleeping there while the door's locked. He couldn't believe it and pitched a hissy fit about how distant I am when he needs me near. I told him until he stops tampering with my alarm and causing me to miss work, I'll just stay in the guest room for now. He said I really overreacted, and this was just some teasing/pranking that I'd taken too seriously, but I refused to negotiate it. He begged that I move back, but I refused and told him he's being irresponsible and whiny over me having to work. He's fuming over this and been saying I'm making his recovery worse. Am I the a-hole? Not stay home, but you need to break up with this ridiculous person. He's endangered his own employment due to his pranks, and now is actively sabotaging your career. He's 30 damn years old. This is unacceptable behavior. Do you really want this person to be your partner in life? This is not the first time I've seen posts about people asking their significant other to just miss work or making them late on purpose. But WTF? The second my significant other or anyone else did that, they would be out of my life. This is livelihood. What kind of entitlement does this person come from to demand it for someone to miss work? Or does the rest of the world live in some magical universe where you can just skip work whenever you feel like it? So weird. Not stay home and get rid of this parasite OP. Literally, a rock would make a better partner. My boyfriend 30 is a prankster by nature. You mean a-hole? All pranksters are a-holes by nature. Some of them just hit the joke right sometimes and not do too damaging pranks, so they're not be called out for being a-holes. But make no mistake that they are a-holes by nature. They feed off people's anxiety and misery. It's an abuse tactic. Get them to lose their job and the power balance changes. In this situation, OP's not a-hole at all. You have two people. And it's clearly written here. He broke his arm 2 weeks ago because of a prank, and as a result, he'd taken time off work and is home all day. And like me, as I work long hours in a very stressful job. OP takes her work seriously, like me, and her boyfriend is, as the saying, treats work like a fart in the wind. BF is bored, stuck at home, so he wants to be entertained. Boyfriend could have asked something like, "Hey, do you think you could take a couple vacation days and let's go do something?" Instead, he pranks her assuming that she'll be super happy to miss work, like he would. I'm like OP and you, and would be pissed off if my partner played this game with me. OP's not there to keep her boyfriend entertained, but he seems to think so. That's not a prank, that is bullying. Dump him. You deserve better. Not the a-hole, of course. Sadists also hide their sadism under the guise of pranks.